Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Dragonball I Wonder episode 32, and today we're going to be discussing something that I've been wondering about for a long time, which is where did Future Trunks get his sword from? Now, let me just get out the way that it wasn't Tapion, because even though they made that movie, and even though the sword looks exactly like Trunks' sword, and even though they even showed a montage at the end showing Trunks with a sword and, him coming to the past and whatever, A, that's non-canon, and B, it wouldn't fit in the timeline even if it was canon. Because if you actually look at when he came in Dragon Ball, that would have been before the androids, like before the events of the history of Trunks timeline. And we know this to be the case because, Gohan's older in the history of Trunks timeline than he was after the Buu saga. Or at least during the point in which the movie's supposed to take place. So, yeah. And of course, Tapion obviously would have helped Trunks and Gohan fight the androids. And he probably would have mentioned them to somebody. And, the fact that he didn't, all those seem to indicate that, he wouldn't be canon. And it wouldn't even make sense if he were canon. So the typical theories that a lot of people like to come up with are either Gohan gave him the sword, which I don't think is likely because they never showed, like when he was a kid, they never shown him being trained with the sword by Gohan. And I'm pretty sure they would have shown it if he was responsible for giving him the sword. Now some might say that, well, maybe Gohan originally owned it, but, the sword, like he probably just took it to remember him by. And I don't really buy that either because they didn't make it that clear. And, Dragon Ball is pretty out in the open with most of its symbolism. So I don't think it's Gohan. And then a lot of other people said Piccolo. Now, my response to this is really? I mean, Piccolo's been dead for pretty much since Trunks was a baby. I highly doubt it's Piccolo. Also, if you look at the sword that Gohan had as a child, it doesn't resemble Trunks' sword at all. It's completely different. Also, the size is different as well. So, for all those reasons, I don't think it's either of them. So, let me offer my theory as to who possibly made the sword. I think the most likely person who might have made the sword is probably Bulma. Now, I haven't heard anybody who brought this up, and I don't have strong evidence to prove it, but this is just a theory. So, what leads me to believe that Bulma might have made the sword for him is the fact that A, Bulma has displayed quite a bit of technical skills, at least in Z, and to some degree in Dragon Ball, but mostly in Z. And we know that she's able to make complex things like time machines, so she should be able to make simple things like swords, stuff that blacksmiths were able to make for thousands of years. I'm sure there's plenty of books on it, and, let's just say I'm sure that's not that hard for somebody of her level of technical expertise. And the other possibility is Trunks himself. And I kind of doubt that it was Trunks because, not to insult him, but I haven't really seen a good display of his technical abilities. I mean, sure, he's a great fighter. Well, he's a good fighter. I wouldn't say great fighter. I mean, he's a good fighter, but I haven't really seen him match or even come anywhere near Bulma or even Dr. Brief when it comes to their ability to, build things. I mean, in many ways, he seems more like Vegeta as just being a fighter, not that good with technical things. I mean, they sort of hint at Kid Trunks being good at technical stuff, but we haven't really seen that much from him either, so that's why I have my doubts. So, if you ask me, in my personal opinion, I think that most likely Bulma probably made the sword for him. It would also make sense as to, like, the outfit that he wears is probably from her as well. But again, that's just my theory. Anyway, this has been my Dragon Ball I Wonder episode 32, offering my little theory as to something I was always confused about. Anyway, guys, that has been my video. Let me know who you think gave Trunks a sword, and I will see you guys later.